Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Monday, November 17th. Another day, another win for Mizzou football. Wow, my voice cracked when I said that. I almost want to restart. That was terrible.
You could. We're 14 seconds in.
No. It's okay. Another win for Mizzou football. Back to winning ways after 3 straight losses. They beat
They did not lose.
Well, you said that twice now. You said it once when I wasn't on the show.
This guy has memory hold Auburn to no end.
I kind of have. I just penciled that as a loss. 2 losses.
I kind of have. Like, it was weird. The Auburn game, after it happened, I was like, that was disgusting. I never want to think about it again. Now I'm kind of like I think of that win kind of like with pride, you know? That's a gutsy win.
Well, I mean, it's, every game matters, as Eli Drinkwitz so wisdomly spoke to us.
Speaking of which,
2 straight losses. Speaking of which, we're not going to talk about the game right away because we got more Drinkwitz comments that we want to dissect off the top. It was we are going to talk a little bit about the game, but we're going to start, and Payton, I'll throw it to you for your kind of take on this first, because you found this, and I know Mizzou Twitter, you had said obviously things were kind of popping off about these comments there, and for those who might have missed it, because it did come during the fourth quarter of this game when it was kind of already put to bed for Mizzou. There was an interesting paraphrase by Tom Hart, who, first of all, shout out Tom Hart, good play-by-play commentator. I'm a fan. MIZ as well. I always do love when he does Mizzou games because he brings up like kind of obscure things. He'll talk.
He brought up Shiloh.
He's brought up Shiloh. He brought up Harper. He did one on this football game that I'm forgetting. Oh, he referenced that. I guess Nebraska. Did you guys know this? That Nebraska fans once turned the Rock M into an N. He told that story on the broadcast last night too.
I don't think I did, actually.
Yeah, I had no idea.
We're not Unk.
Yeah, we're a little bit on it. That's maybe not.
We're not Unk and chopped 6'7".
Payton's feeling himself because the Bears won another close game.
I'm not a Bears
fan.
fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's literally wearing a shirt with the Bears.
I don't know what you're talking
about. the best part, the best reaction to that kid, if he just takes his shirt off, just does it shirtless.
My eyes are up here. I'm gonna repeat it.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, Tom Hart, he brought up some comments. He talked about speaking to Eli Drinkwitz and brought up some interesting stuff. He said, asked him kind of about his future, which is the headline for Mizzou football right now, like it or not. How you feel about the playoff and all that mattering or not. That is the headline right now, is Drinkwitz and his future. Will he, won't he leave? And we're not going to speculate really about that. But Tom Hart brought up on the broadcast, talking to Eli Drinkwitz, and Drinkwitz basically expressing his, sort of feeling toward the investment to the football program, talked about Tom Hart said he talked about the Fortune 500 companies in Mizzou kind of, not having advertising and not having sponsorship and partnership with Mizzou and with the stadium specifically, and not investing as much into the football program. And, those are interesting comments at a time where the future, or his future with the program, is sort of up in the air, given, the job situation right now in college football and where he might go. And it was interesting that sort of getting lumped into the fourth quarter of a blowout game against Mississippi State. And again, it kind of blew up when people heard that watching the game. Y'all's thoughts on it, Payton? I'll start with you because you picked up on that in the moment. And I think you're right. Really interesting, for him to say that, especially given the timing of his comments and where things are at surrounding his future.
It is interesting because, we've heard a lot, Mizzou, when NIL was kind of first, just for lack of a better term, just unleashed onto college football. Mizzou was one of the programs that really took advantage of it and kind of was out ahead of the game, took a lot of advantage of it. But I think now we're seeing a lot of like programs have kind of gotten a handle on things. There's revenue sharing now. It all makes for a very interesting situation in regards to Mizzou, because they're probably not in the position they were even just a couple years ago, where they have such a big advantage. Teams have figured this out. There's going to be revenue sharing, obviously. That's going to even the playing field even more. So Mizzou's probably not where they were NIL wise, but I still would assume they're pretty healthy. We've never heard anything that would suggest otherwise. That has them. I know, obviously, Drinkwitz. It's understandable what he's saying. Like, it would be great if all these big companies with Mizzou alums or located in Missouri would, dump money into the program and keep them even more into the upper echelon of Missouri. I don't know how realistic it is, though. I think they're probably middle of the pack, if I had to guess, in NIL right now. I'm not privy to the numbers. I'm not going to pretend to be. But it sure seems like they still have enough to compete and get guys like Damon Wilson to come into the program. So I would assume there's not nothing there. But it's just, I get what Drinkwitz is saying, but there's a lot of layers to it, especially like you mentioned, Jack, just with his name being linked on other jobs. You're seeing Mike Elko got linked to Penn State and a few others, I think, and got extended. There was a report that Jeff Brom might get his extension soon. He was linked. Rule got extended. Signetti got extended. The two big ones that haven't been extended yet are Kiffin and Drink. And without that in place, and with Drink making comments like that, it's interesting. Maybe it's just a leverage play with Drinkwitz. I think it works both ways there. You can either lay your groundwork for an exit. You can state your reasons, which, by the way, I think it's a pretty flimsy reason to want to leave if that's the case, if you feel like it's because you can't get Fortune 500s in the building. Or B, and maybe I'm being wishful thinking, but I think it's kind of, I'll say it's kind of what I expect. Maybe he's just like kind of laying out, negotiating through the media, like, hey, Mizzou, like, this is kind of what I want. It's not so much about salary, because I think Tom Hart said, like, his question to Drink was like about, like, what are you looking for? Like, are you looking for a higher salary, more investment? And Drink brought up the Fortune 500 companies. So maybe it's just a negotiating tactic. Maybe it's how he really feels. We'll get, for better or worse, we'll know an answer in a couple weeks, one way or the other.
And Kenny, if I may, because I like your take on this as well too. Like, I think with the leverage play piece, I think Payton is onto something there where it might not alter the landscape in terms of how Mizzou competes, in the transfer portal with recruiting, with NIL, and to his point as well, they've done a good job of that. But I think it's one of those things where if these people are Mizzou grads and they are, frankly, therefore fans of the football team, and they want to see their football team be successful, I wonder if part of it is a call out to say, hey, you're in the position to help that happen and to keep guys like me, Eli Drinkwitz, who's done a good job of elevating this football program, around. So I think Payton's spot on it. It does, if anything, feel a little bit like a leverage play and sort of a call out to say, this is where more investment can happen, whether or not it leads to, the success that some people might think it does. I think it clearly is an important thing to him, if you have a thought there.
Yeah, it's the next step. You look at it, just the last couple of years of what Missouri's done behind Drinkwitz. You go out and you fix the practice fields. You get new lights. You build a new indoor facility. You finish the south end zone. Now you're getting a whole new north end zone, and you're just continuing to make this program better. And this just feels like that next check, that next box that Drinkwitz wants to check. And you talk about the support of the people that are graduates around the state who have a lot of money. When you see the team winning, you want your name a part of that. When a team is hot, you want to buy stock, and this is like probably one of the better times to buy stock. And if you want to keep those seasons rolling under the same guy that's got you double-digit wins the last few seasons, there's probably a good feeling of putting your name in the hat and saying I donated a couple million, XYZ, whoever the name is. And I think that's a good positive that comes with it. I think that's where just my mind kind of goes. And, if that's like not something that Mizzou can really get a hold of, getting that advantage of more money being put into the program, I do wonder if there's like a feeling that, Drinkwitz might feel maxed just out of that, that he's kind of achieved what he can with what's available. He's gotten the extensions, he's gotten his bonus pool, extended his pool for his assistants that's gotten larger at the same time. But is there, a world where maybe he does feel maxed and he probably thinks there is an opportunity elsewhere, and that's why, his name's kind of being thrown around for a lot of these jobs too.
Yeah, certainly. That's a real thing. It's a lot of these guys. It's never an anti-Mizzou sentiment or where Mizzou is, but these coaches, their stock might not be as high, or to your point, these jobs might not be available in another 5 years if teams hire somebody else and go in a different direction. You have to strike while the iron's hot in both regards. And so we'll see if Eli Drinkwitz chooses to do that. Payton's exactly right. It is the kind of top storyline at this point in the season. Whether he wants you to believe that this team can still has something to play for, or whether you believe this team still has something to play for just because they're out of the playoff or not, it still is the number one thing, because this, Drinkwitz is the guy who has put this team on the map to be competing with that. I will go back to that quote to segue into the actual game, because I will admit, we talked a lot about it, and Drinkwitz trying to emphasize that, there's still an opportunity to win 10 games if you include a bowl game on the table. There's still an opportunity to salvage another really excellent season. And I thought last night, for the most part, a lot of the guys played like that after, some rocky moments in this game. You had 2 ejections in the first half. The penalties were flat out awful. And I feel like some other teams, maybe buckle down and fold. And yes, Mississippi State, we talked about it in the preview. They weren't very good. They weren't very good at stopping the run. We'll talk about Ahmad Hardy in a second. But Payton, I thought some of these guys on Mizzou, played like a team that, wasn't checked out just because they weren't in the playoff anymore. It felt like a team that was playing for those seniors that got to take the rocks from the fake Rock M. I was impressed with how Mizzou managed to figure that out. I know Mississippi State, did some things to help hand it to them, but in terms of it being an ugly game at times, I thought Mizzou did a good job. And I think you described it, Payton. It was an entertaining game, Mizzou winning 49-27. So your overall thoughts on that, and what you saw from maybe the attitude of the players in a chippy game, a penalty-ridden game, but a win nonetheless for Mizzou, Payton. That included 2 pick sixes on defense.
Yeah, I mean, 49-27, you're not going to hear me complaining about that. Like you mentioned, I thought it was a pretty good response after having your season goal effectively just dashed last week. It was nice to see them kind of bounce back and just manhandle a team that they are very clearly more talented than, for the most part. 27 points for Mississippi State, and I really think you can attribute 14 of them, let's say, maybe a little less, at least a full touchdown. I think you got to attribute to just Mizzou absolutely gaming themselves. The penalties were the defensive ones I'll mention. I didn't like either of the intentional groundings called on Zollers. I thought the second one in particular was the worst grounding call I've ever seen.
Can I just say that feels like a rule to me that has gotten so muddled that I don't think referees really know what it is anymore.
I actually don't. For the most part, I think it's called correctly. I thought the second one in particular, I don't know how screwed it up. That one was called. That one was so bad. But I'll tell you what, I really didn't disagree with many of the defensive penalties. I know people didn't like the Trotter ejection, and it was a late slide, but by the letter of the rule, I mean, it is kind of targeting. Banner's penalty, I remember, I thought was really stupid. There was just a lot of dumb stuff Missouri did in this game early. They cleaned it up. They started winning at the line of scrimmage much more. They did do a good job of keeping Mississippi State under reps on the ground in the first half, but I liked the way the defense played in the second half a lot more. Made a lot of big stops, won the key downs. They were helped a lot. I thought Mississippi State's play calling was a bit silly at times. I mean, when Missouri handed them like fresh sets of downs in goal to go, Mississippi State just kept spamming QB runs. I was very confused by that. It was just like a gift, and then they have the botched snap on the field goal. It's a thing that bad teams do.
I have the full drive summary of that, by the way. It was 16 plays, 9 quarterback draws. They had 8 snaps inside the 10-yard line, and it ended with the muffed field goal. I was wondering, Payton, how many things in your home would break if that was a Missouri drive?
I'd be pretty furious. I mean, it was just stubbornness, like banging your head against the wall at a certain point with those QB draws. Missouri was not fooled. They stopped every single one for about 3 yards or less. I just didn't get the game plan there.
What if Missouri wins that game but has that exact same drive?
What are we leading the show with?
I mean, I'd be a little less angry. I mean, I look, end of the day, like when you're playing SEC games, I really don't care how the wins look for the most part. I will say I would be, if that happened like against Middle Tennessee State or something, that's just what my brain defaults to because of how that game was a couple of years ago, then yeah, I would still not be thrilled with how that game turned out. But at the end of the day, SEC wins are hard-earned. I'll take them any way I can get them.
Kenny, you were there on hand for it with Mizzou getting the win, and I'll throw this one to you from a story of the game perspective. It comes on offense for Mizzou, and it when you look just purely at the game between the lines, the story is Ahmad Hardy. A fantastic game for him on the ground. Was really nice to see. 25 carries. They got him to 300 yards, and he had 3 touchdowns as well. I believe you wrote about it with Mississippi State. We talked about this pregame. I know the Mississippi State guy that you interviewed over from there on 3 sites said the 2 things they've struggled the most with were defending the run and struggling against teams that rush the passer well. And we saw a bit of both of that, but considerably struggled to stop the run. Mississippi State did. What did you make of Hardy? Obviously feels really big for him. Again, you talk about the future, whether it's in a post-Drinkwitz era or not. You can't count any player in or out of the roster anymore these days. But for him, assuming, with a Mizzou future or whatever, a huge performance for him to give him some real momentum in the rest of the season here.
Yeah, the talk all week for Mississippi State, too, was improving that run defense. They gave up over 300 yards to Georgia, and it just looked like this was going to be an opportunity for them to go up against probably, a top 5 running back in the entire country, not even just a conference, entire country. And Ahmad Hardy
underselling it with that, too.
Yeah, sorry, top 2. We'll say top 2, not 1. And I think that Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
Where's he from? St. Louis.
St. Louis. Factory.
Yeah, so that was the big thing that Jeff Lebby talked about just in his press conference too, was that they thought they had a great physical defensive practices the entire week, and it looked like everything was trending in the right direction. And then they gave up the most rushing yards they've given up in a single game all season to Jamal Roberts and Ahmad Hardy, 326 rushing yards combined in that one. And they only strung together 110 of their own rushing yards on 52 attempts. If you guys don't know quick math, that's 2.1 yards per carry. So it was like the total opposite of Missouri had the most dominant run performance they've had all season, and then they just stuffed Mississippi State with any opportunity. It goes back to a lot of those QB draws that Payton was confused about why Mississippi State kept going back to it. And Mississippi State just couldn't get the run game going, and then that just did not help in the passing game. We always talk about the more you get the run game going, the more you can open up passing lanes, and just nothing was opening for this Mississippi State offense, and it just didn't work out. But with Ahmad Hardy too, I thought it was pretty cool just after the game, him talking about it, being from Mississippi and not being recruited by the Bulldogs, and how that was, a little bit of a personal game for him, wanted to make a statement. I said that, going into the week, I was like, this could be a pretty big game for him just personally. But then I also like that, he pointed it back to the seniors. He wrote number 9 on his forearm for Zion Young, explained that why, he was playing for Zion. It feels like everyone has loved Zion this season, what he's brought to that Missouri team. So I think all around, I think the energy is back within this team. Drinkwitz talked about it last week, how he hadn't seen the locker room that defeated in a long time after the Texas A&M game, because everyone in there believed that they could have beaten the Aggies, and they didn't. And it feels like this was just the right turnaround game. Of course, they have to go face a top 10 team in the nation in Oklahoma. But I feel like it's just a better swing for the rest of the season when you win a game like this.
And Payton, he outplays a certain former Mizzou running back too, who had himself a nice day for Ole Miss. I'm sure some fans were probably pretty happy about that. I think it was like 14.5 yards per carry for Ahmad Hardy. I just think that this team is so in its bag when they get, such a swell of guys on those outside zone runs. And then whether it's Hardy or Roberts, they start going that direction and can just cut it back because the entire defense shifts over there to try and bring them down early. And those cutback runs just go for 40 yards and you get those guys. Obviously, Ahmad Hardy, the talk is what he can do, running through tackles, running guys over, bouncing off of hits. And sometimes it's just, it's almost as good when he gets into space and they can just run those plays so well. But obviously they bullied Mississippi State's defensive front. This wasn't exactly unexpected, but I think a huge game for Hardy in terms of his momentum, confidence going into, like Kenny said, a much different situation defensively when Missouri heads to Norman, Oklahoma this weekend. But I thought Hardy was awesome. Payton, your thoughts on the passing attack for Mizzou? I forgot to do this calculation. I'm going to see when you talk. I'm going to try and find it. How many pass attempts Matt Zollers threw after that first interception? Because it didn't feel like many, but a game for him that I felt was okay, not great. They didn't let him throw the ball a whole ton. 8 for 15, 112 yards. He had the 2 touchdowns, and of course the 1 pick. What did you make of him on Saturday night against Mississippi State? Second start.
There's not much to dive into. They didn't ask him to do much, and why would they when your bell cow back is ripping off 12 yards a carry and has $3, as Tom Hart put it, on the stat sheet. He was fine, I think. I like the confidence with him to, be willing on that offsides penalty to throw deep to Olubide, who was blanketed like that. So he definitely isn't losing any confidence. The interception was a pretty rough one. It did kind of look like a young quarterback thing where he didn't know exactly where the route was going. Just some miscommunication, but it was a bad throw, bad result. I think he had 1 completion in the second half. They hardly threw the ball at all. Not much to analyze. There really isn't much I can sink my teeth into. I think it's good he's still confident. He made a couple nice throws. The throw to Manning did all the hard work, but it was a nice find for him to recognize the zone coverage, find Manning, who just sat in the hole there, and let his guy make a play.
Yeah, that's sometimes as simple as it gets for a quarterback. Sorry, Kenny.
Yeah, I think it showed too that, a lot of the worries and frustrations that people had last week against Texas A&M, that this team can really rely on its run game. And I know you're facing a Mississippi State team that's definitely struggled in that facet with its defense, but it's also proven that, more times you get the ball to Ahmad Hardy, more avenues will open just in that run game or just even in the passing game. I still think it was a good step forward for Matt. Even just like grading wise, 68.2 offensive grade. It's the highest that he's had. By PFF, 67.3 is the highest passing grade he's had. So I think all around, it was a good performance just to kind of take that step forward. Completion percentage still pretty low at 44.4 in this game with only 112 yards, but 2 touchdowns. I think you're trending in the right direction. And heck, we haven't even talked about it. Bo Perbula warmed up for this game without any brace on his foot or his ankle. So, if he can get up to speed this next week, it'd be interesting to see what that looks like come Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's obviously a really good sign just for Bo Prabula. I think Drinkwitz said he's ahead of schedule. Could have gone today if they needed to go to him. Maybe it was one of those situations where if the game starts going awry, you try to chuck him back in there. But it's good that they didn't have to rush him back. I think any experience for Zollers is going to be good. It also, Kenny, you talked about it speaking to Mizzou's run game. It also speaks a lot to Texas A&M's defense, which shout out the Aggies. They got after Lenore Sellers, who's the most sacked quarterback in the country in that crazy game. You ask Payton about how he would react for that Mississippi State drive. I can't imagine what he'd say if they blew a 30-6 lead or 30-7 lead or whatever it was. 30-3 even at a halftime.
I can't say I'd be too impressed by the coach.
No.
And I'm certainly not impressed by South Carolina's coach. That's what I'll leave it at.
Yeah. But I thought Zollers was good. And yeah, Kenny, you go into Oklahoma now where it seems like potentially Bo Prabula, you give him that week of rest. Could he come back for that game? How much are you going to have to use Zollers against another good defense on the road? That will be an interesting thing to watch develop over the course of the week. And we'll see if Bo Prabula winds up starting that game. You would think probably so if he is healthy, just given he's the more experienced quarterback. But I like what I saw from Zollers for the most part. Made up for the interception. Another situation where you could have let that kind of roll over, and Mizzou didn't put the ball in his hands a ton, but he made a few plays after that mistake. Defensively, what?
I honestly can't remember anything.
He made a couple plays. I think he had the second touchdown after. I think the second touchdown.
No, the second touchdown was before that.
Oh, it was. You're right. Well, so maybe not. Defensively, it was nice to see a leading tackler not named Josiah Trotter. I understand that was because Josiah Trotter got thrown out of this game, but there's good for. 2 pick sixes, good for Toriano Pride and Marvin Burks. The last kind of take I have with this game sort of surrounds that. I know Blake Shapen was not very good. Frankly, I had a Mississippi State opinion in this game. That Taylor has to start. That guy's really good. I was surprised they didn't go to him more in the goal line. I thought he cashed Mizzou a couple times. They've got a talented guy in Taylor, but I realized Mississippi State's passing game wasn't that good. But we touched on it in the pregame. They had a couple weapons at receiver: Anthony Evans, Brendan Thompson. The two of them combined 9 catches, 131 yards, 0 touchdowns. Not great, not terrible, I don't think. And my last take is, for me, I was so nervous about this preseason with the secondary and getting burned over the top consistently in games. And I still think we haven't seen that. And again, you talk about confidence games. I think it's going to be really nice for guys like Marvin Burks and Toriano Pride to do what they do to do what they did against an SEC team going forward. This secondary has been one of the bigger pleasant surprises for me with this team. I think they've been a lot better than I at least was expecting preseason. I don't know if you guys have any feelings on that or the rest of the defense, but I thought a lot of those guys were good again tonight.
Yeah, it really hasn't cost them at all. I guess like the big plays started coming in A&M, but most of those were on the ground and when the game was over. But the games we thought it would really be an issue, Alabama didn't really do it. South Carolina had a few plays, but the pass rush made up for a lot of that by just getting Sellers to take some egregious sacks.
Auburn had some drops too, I'll say.
Yeah. But yeah, it hasn't really cost them in a game this year. The defense has been a playoff level unit. I think Corey Batoon's had a great year. I like a lot of his play calling on the defensive side. It really has just kind of come down to the offense for the most part.
I was telling Kyle this in the press box too. I think Toriano Pride really turned to page these last couple weeks, and I just pulled up his PFF grades as well, looking at the coverage numbers. A lot of greens the last three games: 77.8, 68.9, 76.3, and then in that game as well against Mississippi State, 81.1 tackle, run defense 73, and just a defensive grade of 77.7. So I think all around, those are just improved numbers for a guy who didn't live up to expectations last year coming over from Clemson. It just kind of got into a position battle too with some of the other cornerbacks in the room. But this year, I think there's definitely a lot more from Toriano Pride, a lot more positives than last season.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal too when you go into this Oklahoma game and you look ahead a little bit with how sometimes questionable their offense has been, and how they can sometimes get a little one-dimensional. I'm not talking myself into Missouri winning that game yet, but I think there's some interesting takeaways. Again, you talk about building confidence. Yes, Payton.
Yeah, I mean, on Oklahoma, I am also not predicting them to win that game. I will be predicting a loss, believe me, no matter who's at quarterback or whatever. But there's a
Very
lot
brave
of
of you.
yeah,
Very
there's
brave of you.
a lot of similarities to Auburn in terms of the offense versus the defense. I mean, Auburn is so stout up front, as is Oklahoma, maybe a little more so for Oklahoma. I mean, R. Mason Thomas is maybe the best pass rusher in college football this year. But I mean, Missouri still found a way to score 23 points and win that game. So I won't put it past them. I do think they can figure it out, but it's going to probably come down to if you can get Ahmad Hardy going. I think that's just kind of going to be the key for every game as long as he's at Missouri.
Yeah, I completely agree. On that note, guess the line, fellas, from FanDuel for
Oklahoma by 10.
Missouri. Okay, Kenny, do you have a guess?
I know I'm right already.
Yeah, I know Payton. I've already seen it. I'm just gonna guess 9.5. Maybe it dropped.
Yeah, maybe it moved a little, but
Oh, I have news for you. It moved. It moved. I'm gonna check again right now because when I checked this morning, it was 8.5 in favor of Oklahoma, and it is still 8.5 in favor of Oklahoma.
Maybe I saw someone else's. But...
So 8.5, and the over/under is 42.5, which I also think is spot on because I think both these offenses have some questions and things that, like Payton said, need to get going if they want to score points. So that to me is always a good gauge. When the over/under is below 50 in a college football game, I kind of think, that's a good sign that there's good defenses and probably not a ton of good offense. But we'll get into Oklahoma this week. But there's some early lines or an early spread from FanDuel. They've got the Sooners favored by 8.5 at home. Overall, a good performance. And I had another Tom Hart thing, but I forgot to write it down. So now my mind's drawing a blank that I was going to mention. Maybe I'll remember it in quick hits. So there you go. There's some recap for you from Mississippi State. Fun win, 2 pick sixes. Always good when you can see that. Before we go to quick hits, let's touch, gents, on the hoop coming up for Missouri men's basketball. No games to recap this weekend. What are you laughing at?
Because the 2 games coming up probably don't need much analysis.
I said touch on them. I've got the Ken Palms pulled up for both these 2 teams.
That might be too much.
We could
to even talk about.
Frankly, I was going to try and find the most glaring stats I could.
You could just tell everyone when these games are, and then just go to quick hits.
Sure.
No, I disagree. I disagree, Jack. I'll give you your wish. Let's break these down.
I'm not telling you who Prairie View A&M's most efficient scorer is. I was just kind of looking at, especially like on Ken Palm, they give you the percentages. What do you think Mizzou's lowest percentage in the next 4 games is?
98.7 at the very lowest.
The next 4 games, by the way, the 2 that are coming up before we record next are Prairie View, 7 p.m. Monday on SEC Network Plus, and then South Dakota, 7 p.m. Thursday on SEC Network Plus. So we'll recap both those for Friday's show. Peyton, you're being far too nice. It's 99%. Ken Palm gives Mizzou 99.7% chance to win against Prairie View and a 99 against South Dakota. These teams are ranked 343rd and 278th in the Ken Palm ranking. South Dakota, never mind. They're 3-2.
What were you thinking? What were you going to say?
I clicked on Mizzou for a second, and I thought they were undefeated.
You thought they were unbeaten? Yeah, here's my analysis of these games. They should really win all of them by a lot of points. My only other take is I'd like to see them. I think this is the last stretch where you can kind of get Trent Pierce and Boateng in and up to speed and expect them to be like a part of the rotation, because I mean, after that you got Notre Dame and Kansas. No time to tinker with the rotation then. So I'd like to see hopefully Pierce and Boateng back and ready.
Ken Pom has this 95-65 over Prairie View A&M and 97-71 as their predicted scores over South Dakota. Prairie View A&M has just played Wichita State and Oklahoma, fresh off of losses. South Dakota, they've played the likes of Creighton. They beat Southern Indiana and Western Michigan. Those are their two D1 wins.
Or Southern Indiana, the first ever game in the Dennis Gates era.
The Screaming Eagles. There you go. There's your preview. Like I said, I'll read them one more
thoughts,
time.
Kenny?
Yeah.
When are these games?
I said them. I was just about to say them again, actually. Just for you. 7 p.m. Monday, SEC Network Plus for Membou, our favorite SWAC. No.
They're a
Southland?
SWAC team.
No, they are
They're
SWAC. Okay. I second guessed myself. And 7 p.m. Thursday on SEC Network Plus against the mighty Summit League, South Dakota Coyotes. There you go. Hoop. I have more hoop and quick hits because we're going to talk border war for women's basketball. So we'll do that on the other side. Be right back. Okay, quick hits time. We'll finish up the show. Kenny, you have a Ken Sports Shorts. We don't have to me and Payton don't have to embarrass ourselves doing the Daily Dozen today.
Yeah, you guys called me out and said that you guys were tired of the Daily Dozen quiz. Okay, my question this week, because it was senior day on Saturday. When was the last time Missouri lost a senior day football?
Ooh.
2019.
That's correct.
Yeah.
2019. So that was a loss to Tennessee 24-20. Now we'll go forward. Can you tell me who Mizzou beat in 2020 on senior day?
Wasn't Arkansas, was it?
It was Arkansas.
Season? It was.
Yeah, that's right.
2021.
North Texas? No, that was homecoming.
No, that's homecoming.
New Mexico State?
No, you're a year early. Who did they beat? Oh, Florida.
Yep, Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Overtime win, 24-23.
Dan Mullen fired.
2022 was New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that Pavia?
2023?
Yes,
Yes.
Pavia. 2023.
Not Arkansas. It was also Florida.
It was Florida.
Wow, that's
close
right.
win there, 33-31. 2024.
Last season.
That was just Arkansas.
Wait, 2024 was. Wait.
That was Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. It was Arkansas.
Was South Carolina not homecoming in 2023?
Yeah, it was homecoming in 23.
Didn't we just say Florida?
Florida was
senior day.
Oh,
This guy, this guy's the host.
I don't know why I went to homecoming.
Yeah.
Why because that's when you're supposed to go. You don't go.
Yeah, I'm like thinking when I came back, and never mind. Sorry.
This guy's all over the map, Kenny.
Yeah, we're having a nightmare today. It's NFL stressful.
Call him an Atlas, right?
Why don't we move on?
Tigers in the Wild. Let's move, swiftly on. Kenny, back to you. That was a good quiz. I screwed that up. What's your Tiger in the Wild?
Tiger in the Wild, there were three of them at Mizzou football this past Saturday. Ennis Rakestraw recovering from an injury right now. Armand Membou, Jets were on bye. And then Jaylon Carlies, who's also coming back from an injury. But JC and Ennis, of course, very close and are during their college days, and Armand as well. I mean, just good to see some guys come back from those good years in 2023 and then 2024 as well for Armand.
I miss the Cotton Bowl so much.
It was so
much more simple. I mean, these three were so good that year too. Like it really was. Like these aren't three just reserves coming back. I mean, that was the right tackle who was a beast. CB 1 or 2. He didn't play in the Cotton Bowl, but still, I mean, depending on what you like, one half of the best cornerback duo in Missouri history, and then Jaylon Carlies, who should have won. Him or Dalen should have won Cotton Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Defensive MVP.
Yeah, defensive MVP. They gave offensive and defensive.
They all three. I have not much more to add. They were all great. The CAD Ennis duo is just It's so unrivaled. It was so much fun. All
Missed
these guys were
dearly.
great. This has to be a weekly occurrence. I love seeing these guys come back. It just makes me smile.
Bring a
Shout out
Cotton Bowl champ to every game, please.
I like
Until the end.
the black zip up Lions logo that has got on there.
That is cool.
Fits with
Good
the
job.
theme. They're all matching.
You guys remember Nick DeLoach, man? That's
Austin
who we
Yes.
replaced Cat and Ennis with.
He's still on the team. You see him special teams.
Yeah. Anyways.
I saw JC this past summer. Did I tell you guys that?
Yes, you did. He was with Khalif Canty, correct?
Yeah, I saw JC just walked in to the Colts practice facility. I know he's on the team, but it was just like only 2 guys walked in, called him over, and got a photo with KJ Canty. Thought that was really cool.
Grind don't
Did they
stop.
talk at all?
Yeah, they talked. I told it was before KJ was going to announce his commitment that day, so I let JC know ahead of time. It's like, hey, this kid's going to commit to Mizzou. Can you just go get a photo with him? Just talk to him real quick about it. And they didn't know each other, but it was they got to meet. It was pretty cool.
Facilitating.
That's cool. Good on you, Kenny.
Yeah,
for that.
nice work. Payton, your Tiger in the Wild.
My Tiger in the Wild is going to be Mitch Morse. He was back at Mizzou. He's banging Big Mo
This
in a
video
very
is
funny way.
hilarious.
He slams a beer right afterwards. Shout out Dave Matter for the video. Guys, I know we mentioned the famous O-line photo a few weeks ago. It feels like not that long ago, and so I have a bonus, a very quick Payton sports shorts. Can you tell me the exact positions of everyone in that photo? Because we went through this last time, and I don't think we're going to remember it again.
Mitch Morse was the center.
No, he was not.
No,
Incorrect.
He
You're
was left tackle.
Nope. Other right.
Right
he was
tackle.
he was the right tackle.
Evan Boehm was the center.
Bain was the center.
Evan Boehm is indeed the center.
Britt.
What
Britt
is
was
Britt?
Britt was
Just
left tackle.
Britt left
Britt
tackle?
was left tackle, correct.
The dentist was left guard.
Yes, Max Copeland.
Copeland. I
Yeah.
was gonna say Chris. Who's Chris Copeland? Was he a basketball player?
It sounds like a familiar name. Which, by the way, Max Copeland, I mean, like, he was probably the worst one on this line just by virtue of not making it in the league for a while. Still a 21 game starter. I mean, that's your 5th
In the
best player
NFL?
on that line. No. For
college.
Mizzou. In college,
Okay.
yeah. Center was Evan Boehm, so you're missing one. Who's the right guard?
Is it a well-known name?
Yes, we know this name.
It's
know
not-
this
we
name.
go this. we go
McGovern.
through this
It's
all the
Connor
time.
McGovern.
Yeah,
Yes, Connor McGovern. Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We got it. We better get that one.
Who was the offensive line coach then?
I don't know. I didn't do that research. Not Brandon Jones. He has been the O-line coach since.
So
I don't
Britt,
think Brandon
20
Jones might have been in like college or high school then.
Britt, Copeland, Boehm, McGovern, and
Come on, get there. Look at your computer screen.
I'm looking at my computer screen. There's not. Oh, and Mitch Morse. Sorry. I thought you had the picture up there. I was like, "There's nothing. That's not there."
No. Yes, that's it. Good job, guys.
Oh,
Thank
we
you.
really need to stop exposing ourselves with that. All right, my Tigers in the Wild for this week is Mitch Morse hitting the drum once and then like just staring at the camera for a second and then taking the sip of beer and then doing it again. It's like a robot. My Tigers in the Wild, the Mizzou women's basketball team. Not as fun of a headline here. Shout out Aaron Seagal from the Columbia Missourian. Kansas holds off a surging Mizzou team, 82-77 in the border war. First takeaway, I watched the second half of this game. It sucks that the border war is in Kansas City. It is so much better environment-wise when it's on campus. I like the T-Mobile Arena. It's a nice venue. I've been there multiple times. It sucks that this game isn't on campus. I hope they move it back. That's my first takeaway. Second one, rough fourth quarter for Mizzou. I'm not overall too flummoxed by this game. They did come back. They were down double digits a couple times in this game. Kansas had a lot of size. That just kind of did Mizzou in the end. But they did well to come back. They came back in the third. Questionable shot selection in the fourth, I felt. Grace Slaughter, who did have a good game overall. She went 2 for 6 in the fourth quarter, but did have 16 points. So still a good game. I think Mizzou still had a strong start to the season, but this was a bummer. They couldn't complete the comeback. had like 5 turnovers in the fourth. So it was a bit of a rough ending, but yeah, I still think a strong start to the year, but Mizzou did drop the border war, which was wrapping up right when the football game kicked off on Saturday.
Yeah, bummer. It would have been a very nice early statement win for Kelly Harper, but big time rebuild at Missouri. Sucks to not get the win there, but I mean, can't be too discouraged by losing by 5 to a team that's still unbeaten.
Yeah, Kansas wasn't bad. They were kind of owning the interior. It was just really weird. Missouri was hitting threes in the third and then only attempted 2 in the fourth and didn't kind of turn back to it. It was sort of a weird sequence of events to end the game. But
what's wrong with the scheduling gods? Like, what was the point of this?
Yeah, not
really weird.
You nailed it, Kenny. It sucked that it was on a Saturday night. I wish this was on a different day. And again, not in Kansas City. It's cool. The T-Mobile Arena is cool. Games are better on campus.
That's another gripe I have. Can we just call it the Sprint Center? Like, who's going to stop us? We're not writing this down anywhere. You know?
Do you like it that it was the Sprint Center instead of T-Mobile?
It's the Sprint Center in my mind. I mean, I don't know.
Sure.
Like, it's the same thing with like Minute Maid Park. Like, I mean, it's always going to be Minute Maid Park in my mind. I'll call it Enron before I call it Daikin.
Oh no!
How?
Enron mentioned.
I mean, calling it Sprint is like the same thing as calling it Enron because I don't think Sprint exists anymore, does it?
It was bought by T-Mobile. I think that's why they changed it.
They got the phone and the naming rights. That's cool.
Yeah, this is like Kenny's Sears Willis Tower thing. That debate.
I think I walked past that one when I was in Chicago. I don't know the difference.
Kind of hard to miss.
They're both pretty big. Which is the one that has like the different
Wait, what are you talking
rectangles.
about? They're both big.
Are you talking about the Hancock building? The one that's
Yeah, I was
just
thinking about
one
the
with
Hancock.
the 2 little rods at the top?
Oh, that's the one I walked past then.
Okay, yeah. The Hancock building is also cool because I mean there's like a big mall in there.
Yeah. So bummer of a loss for Mizzou, but I think they'll bounce back. I'm still confident in this team early. They've put the Maryville loss Maryville loss behind them. That's for sure. All right. We have headlines. Kenny, what's your headline?
My headline this week, this is a tough one, Payton, and I'm sorry. But 5-star power forward Cam Williams commits to Duke. Do you wonder why I'm doing this one?
I was.
I'm a little curious. Oh, no, I do know the reason. Because it bumped Mizzou down a spot in the ranking.
Yeah, so Duke, so Mizzou was at number 2 for I think only 2 or 3 days with official signings coming in. Yeah, 2 days. And then Cam Williams signed and committed to Duke. And that pushed Missouri down to number 3 with Duke taking the top spot. Arkansas 2, and then Kansas 4.
Oh wow. Look at that trio of teams.
You know, it's an opinion. Opinions are everyone's got an opinion. Other places have different opinions.
Technically the rankings aren't by opinion, they're by a number.
Well,
it's a mathematical
if that were God, Kenny, why doesn't every single outlet have the same exact rankings?
Because there are other numbers that they put next to the players, weigh it differently.
How are
it's
they
weighed
determined?
differently. It's weighed by numbers. I don't know what you want me to say.
How are they determined?
By a scouting scale.
Players. How are the rank of the players determined?
By a scouting scale that gives them a number.
That does what?
That ranks them?
Its opinion on a player.
A number's giving an opinion.
This is not a good gimmick.
There's no gimmick. I'm trying to explain this to you. I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm trying to help you.
And Jason Crow Jr. is on his way, and that's all I care about. And 2 others. Yeah, but Jason Crow Jr. is on his way.
So what you're saying, Kenny, is that there are facts, and then there are other facts that are different.
You don't know the facts.
Break this down. Break this down for me, Cody.
Get that.
You didn't get that?
No, do it again.
Peyton got it.
You don't know the facts.
Well, yeah,
if you don't know the facts,
why don't you say the next line?
It's a fact.
I don't want to cuss on the show anymore. I'm done with that. That's in my past.
I'm done with that too. I only do it for emphasis.
Mm.
I said friggin' instead of the other word the other day.
I've kind of started to use friggin' in every everyday language. It's kind of a funny word.
Friggin' is fun.
Friggin'. All right. What's your headline, Peyton? What's your friggin' headline?
Kind of owned Kenny there. Let's move on.
I don't think either of you
I won't
own
burn you
the
too
other
bad
one.
anymore, Kenny. My headline is going to just be
boo.
NCAA college football rankings from AP. The AP top 25 is out. Missouri is back in it at 23. Kind of says a whole lot about the rest of the country right now. I don't really think anything else of note happened. Where did Oklahoma jump to? I'd like to see that.
8.
They jumped to 8. Okay. Kenny scrolled really far up. 8. Cool. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, what the hell, Kenny?
Up in
It's right there.
Yeah, I'm talking about it.
Stop scrolling so friggin' much.
Kenny's I'm getting Kenny riled up. He tried to rile me up. Now look at him over there sitting all disappointed. He's
in his
trying
green sweater.
He's putting his fist in front of his face. He's leaning his head on it for a dramatic effect. Dude, I'm dancing in your head
He's
right now.
gone.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Off you go, Kenny.
Peyton, this is a lame headline. The AP poll doesn't matter anymore. Although what a group
I know,
of
but
teams.
I didn't want to hold up the show
Kenny,
anymore.
from the void, can you slow down? Can you scroll down more back to Mizzou from the void, please? Thank you. What a funny group of teams from 21 to 25. James Madison, North Texas, Missouri, Tulane, and Houston. We got three mid-majors, a former mid-major, and Mizzou.
Let's play a game now. Let's find a connection between all of those teams and Missouri. I'll go first. James Madison, Rocco Marriott, who officially visited Mizzou for the Texas A&M game. Okay, Jack, your turn. North Texas, find a connection to Mizzou.
Jay Macklin.
That's a good one.
Is at North Texas.
I was going to say homecoming, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
Tulane. I'm really glad Kenny gave me Tulane because
I know what this one is.
I know what he wants me to do, but I'm not going to go that way. Mizzou was rumored to have interest in Willie Fritz when he was hired, or when during the sequence where Mizzou landed on Drinkwitz. Willie Fritz was one of the rumored candidates. Didn't work out there. Willie Fritz stayed at Tulane, won the Cotton Bowl himself over USC, Heisman winner. I think it was the Heisman year for Caleb Williams. But then Willie Fritz eventually moved on to Houston, who is the next team on the list. There's a bonus connection for you.
I can go a couple different ways with this. I was honestly just going to say, building off Payton's, he's at U of H now. There's my connection. I'm going to say Brian Early, Brandon Jones. Two easy layups there.
Cameron Johnson.
Cameron Johnson, yeah.
I have a rage bait. I have a rage bait. James Madison one. Mark Byington was their coach, and then Mark Byington ended Mizzou men's basketball season last year. After that,
well, this is football.
I don't care. You just said find a connection. You didn't.
I thought
say
he was going to say like the softball game like 3 years ago.
Oh, or that. That's even worse.
Oh yeah, I had forgotten about that. Not gonna lie.
Them and Duke, the Dukes and Duke. Heartbreak for Mizzou.
Something about Duke.
Wait, should we go? Should we keep going through this? Okay, Tennessee, find a connection.
Okay.
There's a pretty few, I think.
Heupel.
All right, Virginia, Daniel Kalen, Payton, Michigan.
Michigan, the Block M.
All right, Jack.
I can try a little harder than that.
Ryan Wingo.
Okay, good. USC. Oh man, what's his name? That receiver from CBC. I went there, Payton.
Oh, Boggs? Was it Boggs?
No, the other one one that didn't commit.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
I have Georgia Tech.
It's like CJ, I think.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now.
Right,
it was
ahead,
last year.
Georgia Tech. Eddie Kelly Jr. was at Georgia Tech before Mizzou.
That's a good one. Kenny, I need you to scroll up for me real fast.
We're real slow. Not too far, though. That's far enough.
Miami, Marcus Clark.
Oh man, I thought there's
Marcus Allen.
There's recent ones that are currently on the team.
No, but we're talking about football. Don't forget. What are you talking about?
Me?
Yeah.
D-Nick.
Oh yeah.
Oh right.
And Caleb Flagg? Okay. Carter Stewart for Utah.
Oh right. They flipped the safety from their Vanderbilt. Ooh. Vanderbilt. I mean, they
Oh,
played
man.
Vanderbilt, but
I don't know if I know a player. I don't
did
think
you
I
find
had
the
one.
name, Kenny? By the way,
I can't remember what tab I was searching on. Okay, I found
it
it.
was USC. Vanderbilt.
I don't know BYU either. Alabama, can I
BYU.
say?
Oh,
BYU Jackson Gates.
Yep. Corey Sims was the receiver I was thinking of.
Corey Sims. Yes, that's it.
Alabama, can I say Drake Kirkpatrick Jr.? His top two
Yeah.
were Missouri and
Yeah,
Alabama.
that works.
So did we get one for Vanderbilt or no?
no, I can't think of one
Mark
for
Byington.
Vanderbilt.
I mean, there's been some overlap in
Wait,
recruiting, but
was
nothing.
Darren Senzabal like? Was he a
Yeah, he
Vanderbilt
was
commit?
committed there.
Yeah, and then he wound up at Mizzou.
Yeah, okay, that's
Yeah,
good. That's a good one.
There we go.
All right, Notre Dame.
Jeremiah Love.
Love, Aeneas Williams, lot of St. Louis kids.
Theo Weiss for Oklahoma.
I was thinking you could even go Luther for Oklahoma.
Dorial Green-Beckham.
Caden Green. We're 7. Oh, there's double.
There's
There's-
tied for
okay.
6th for Oregon.
Oregon, that one offensive lineman from St. Louis that flipped.
Tione Gray.
Tione Gray, yeah.
lineman,
And then Jeremiah McClellan,
Jeremiah McClellan. Yeah.
who had a great catch. I don't know if you guys saw that. Barely got his toe in
Did
the
he?
end zone. Yeah,
I didn't see
past
that, no.
week.
I did not watch that game.
Texas Tech.
Patrick
Howard,
Mahomes.
there was an old lineman and a safety that Mizzou was both interested in. I think it was the UNC O lineman and a North Dakota State safety.
I remember that North Dakota State safety. He had like
his name was like
European last name. Yeah, Wiskowski, something like that.
Mike Wazowski.
All right, Georgia. This is,
skipping Ole Miss?
sorry, Ole Miss.
Kawan Lacey.
Juan Lacey.
unfortunately.
Yeah, Georgia's easy.
Dominic Lovett.
Love it.
Yeah, Texas A&M, Jamari Morrow.
Shout out. Oh no, what? I always forget his name.
Mizzou also had Cam Dewberry and TJ Shannon.
No, who's the kid from Georgia that we saw in the shack? He's not. I don't think he's. I think he's at
Mbemba?
He's at
yeah,
A&M now.
Mbemba. He's at A&M now. So you
Oh,
can
there's
do that.
another
Dude.
A&M connection. Indiana. Ooh, Fernando Mendoza, I'm afraid.
Basilak?
Oh, right. Yeah. How can I
Oh
forget
yeah,
that?
Basilak.
Ohio State. I
State
mean,
beat them in the
easy.
Cotton Bowl. But do you guys remember 14-3 in Arlington, AT&T Stadium? Missouri beat Ohio State. Last postseason loss for Ohio State. Missouri Tigers.
Sam Greer.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Sam Greer. Yeah,
Sam
Zeke's a
Greer.
good one.
I really hope that there's just someone out there that's listening to us that just knows who Sam Greer is. They just know what I'm saying. I really
People
doubt it.
listening probably think we're psychotic.
Yeah,
That
probably
was
skip
fun.
this
That
part.
was interesting.
That was
good
a
game.
fun. That was
I
a
want to do that
fun
for basketball at some point. Okay, my headline comes from Andy Staples over at On3. College football playoff prediction. Oklahoma shakes up the bracket. Obviously, we're recording this before the next college football playoff. I'm going completely against Drinkwitz's word and talking about the college football playoff after he told us to not only talk about the college football playoff. It was kind of a crazy crazy Saturday in college football for the teams that are vying for the playoff. Alabama lost. Texas, thank God, good riddance. Probably out of the playoff.
They're done.
Big win for Oklahoma. Staples his bracket. He's got also the mid-majors or whatever, the group of 5 teams continue to just eat themselves. I saw South Florida lost. So now it's Andy Staples has Tulane. I saw another projection that had Navy.
Could be JMU.
It could be James Madison as the
UNT.
one. The ACC is still crazy. Louisville lost and got eliminated from the championship game. Duke lost and we're probably out on the 4-loss Duke team that eliminated the ACC altogether from contention. It's probably going to be Georgia Tech, Virginia. Right now he's got Tulane, Texas Tech in the 5-12, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss in the 11-6, Notre Dame, Oklahoma in the 10-7, and Oregon, Bama. So he still has Alabama in after they lost to Oklahoma, but more shakeups. It is still somewhat compelling. Yeah, I mean, Texas A&M keeps at number 3 after an insane comeback against he who must not be named in the Gamecocks. wild weekend. It's a wild weekend. It's fun time again in college football. This is where I go back to last show and say, you can talk about this rigmarole with how the game is changing all you want, but on Saturday when I just get to watch the games, it's awesome every single week.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Notre Dame Oklahoma matchup. I'd love to see Notre Dame Indiana again.
Yeah, what's your favorite game there? That's probably that one. Oregon at Alabama is fun.
Oregon at Alabama is also cool.
That one would be fun.
Alabama, Oregon would be so fun just to see one of those teams go to the Rose Bowl too.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd just be a pretty game no matter what. It would have been even cooler in my mind if Notre Dame and Oklahoma played in the Rose Bowl. I think that would give like vibes of like Georgia, Oklahoma a couple of years ago when they had a pretty good playoff game.
Oregon, Ohio State too. I mean, when I think Rose Bowl, like that's like the game I think of, like the matchup.
Did Alabama ever play Oregon with Saban? Did they play a couple times? Like none. I'm not thinking of any in my head. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, they were in the playoffs like around the same time, but I can't think of it. To be honest,
Fun
one that I can remember at least. I'm sure it might have happened, but
we got 2 more weeks. I'm sure more stuff will shake out. We'll get who the SEC champion. I forgot to look at those like possible projections. I looked at the ACC, and if you go online right now and look at the ACC like possible scenarios for who makes the championship game, if you really want to hurt your brain, I recommend doing that. It's insane. You can still have Duke make it, but somehow Louisville can't make it, and it's nuts. I wanted to see who does it have. Georgia Tech's the favorite on FanDuel right now, plus 160. That conference is wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
All right, Payton, you have a joke?
I sure do, Jack. This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Kenny, I don't know if you listened back, but we actually found the author of this article that I've been using. But here's the joke. Guys, what did one leaf say to the other? Layup line.
Fall.
Fall.
A little more.
It waved.
Jesus.
It said, I don't want to leave you.
You're getting further away. You were close.
The leaf didn't say anything. It blew the other leaf off.
God, guys. I'm falling for you.
Oh. It would make more sense if, like you said, what did the leaf say to its crush?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I liked it, Sarah Lemire, author of the article.
And then the leaf crush said, I'm taking another leaf to the prom. Sorry. And then the other leaf was sad.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for the show. We will.
We'll
recap some.
That felt a little personal.
Maybe it was. We'll recap some basketball. We'll recap some basketball next show. Some Mizzou men's basketball take on Pavamu. Payton's Pavamu and the South Dakota Coyotes. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you next time.